Chips. They've become a hot topic, haven't they, on my channel recently. I did a bit of a review for those that haven't yet seen it on a fish and chip shop in that there Wigan a few days ago. And by my standards, it gained a bit of traction and a lot of comment. When I say a review, I don't review food as such. It's something I've never done. It's something I probably wouldn't be doing. Reason being, there's lots of people on the internet doing it anyway. And to do it, you've got to be cleverer than me. I am the world's biggest technophobe. And to review food, I'd need to be going out with a camera, filming things. Sometimes people just show what's on the menu, show the food, blah, 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 blah. Turn camera off, eat it, turn it back on. Some people actually eat it on camera, like old Danny Boy on Rate My Takeaway, who I like him. And plus, I'm not going to be doing it myself because people like that would do it much, much better, much more professionally. But anyway, I did a quick review on a fish and chip shop in that there Wigan earlier on this week, as I say, at back end of last week, and it gained a bit of a following and lots of comment. And I was actually knocking the chipper, but not in a bad way. As I mentioned on the review there, I went in it 13 or 14 years ago, brilliant. Went in 3 or 4 years ago, brilliant. Never the cheapest, but never mega dear. I never used to think, oh my God, that's dear. The reason I did a bit of a review the other day, it wasn't a review, it was a comments really on the chip shop. I was up there early on this week, back end of last week, and I thought, oh, I'm near that chipper today. I like that chipper. When I was there 3 or 4 years ago, I worked in the air for like 3 days, and I went every dinner time. I don't even normally have dinners, but they were that nice. I went in for a bag of chips every day. So I thought, I'll do it when I was there this week, and I did. And I went in there, and the first thing I noticed was regular bag of chips, or small bag of chips, £3. Large portion, 4. And I thought, £4? Is that what we've come to now? £4 for a bag of chips? It's only potatoes. I know everything's gone up. I know transport's gone up. Oil, probably dripping, everything's gone up. Potatoes, I know that. I do know that. And I know everybody's telling me when I turn the TV on, the cost of living has shot up for fuel, food, energy, the whole shooting match. The wife tells me on a regular basis. I know things have gone up. Many don't need to have gone up what they have because they're robbing us, but they have gone up. But I thought, £4 for a bag of chips? I couldn't believe it. Anyway, to make matters worse, I got the £3 bag. I'm on a diet, so at the moment, so it's probably not a bad thing. But that said, when I'm spending that kind of money, I want a proper portion. I got a little tray of like that size, and it wasn't even filled up, and there was a lot of scraps in there as well. And I thought, £3 for that? As she was pouring him into the tray, I almost said, no, I've changed my mind, I don't want him. But I thought, no, I'll have him. And as I'm eating him, I thought, I'm going to do a review on this. I'm going to mention how dear they've become to back the ladies up out there that go shopping on a daily basis and whose husbands and boyfriends don't believe how costly things are. Anyway, the chips were all right. You know, I've had worse, I've had much worse. I think I marked them on it, and not that I do that kind of stuff, or if I didn't, if I was going to mark them, I would have given them a 7.5 out of 10. But it would have got a lower mark, firstly because of the price, secondly because there was a fair few scraps in there and I didn't ask for scraps, and thirdly just because there wasn't a lot there. The value for money was like 0. And it's a shame because it's a brilliant chip shop, and it was busy. It's always been a busy chip shop. Anyway, as I say, it gained a lot of traction, lots of comments. I had a couple of people knocking me who backed the chipper, who were from Wigan and who like it. Many agreed that the prices are horrendous. And on the back of that, a couple of people made a couple of different comments, and I've had one today. One comment today have said, I've seen your review, blah, 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 blah. Why don't you look at doing food reviews? And as I say, I've messaged the guy back. I said, I think it was a guy. No, I don't do that. I'm not set up for it. I've not got the facilities to do it, and I don't think I would want to do it. Plus, many would do it better than me. But I did message him and say, as it turns out, over the next couple of days, I'm going to mention a couple of different chip shops, and I might do a few more. And the reason for that is, I want to be even-handed, and let people know that I've not got it in for this fish and chip shop in Wigan, because I've not. And I want to do a few reviews and be honest with the reviews. As it turns out, let me just clip that, it's going down. As it turns out, I had a message early on in the week when the original video went live, and somebody said to me, well, what's your favourite fish and chip shop then? Where do you go to? And I thought to myself, well, they're not all great anymore. I don't think I've got an absolute standout favourite. And for me, a good fish and chip shop is a fish and chip shop that every time you go it's good, and not many can do that for some reason. Why, I don't know. They just don't seem to be able to do it. Although there is one fish and chip shop in my memory, in my history that I do remember, and it's never been bad. I'll mention that in a moment. I mentioned it in the comments at the time. But the thing for me, viewers, is I don't like fish. most everybody does. I don't like anything from the sea. So I thought, what I'm going to do, I'm going to mention over the next couple of weeks a few chip shops, fish and chip shops, chippers, chippies, whatever you want to call them. See, chips is the thing in everything. Chip, 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 chip. And to me, a good fish and chip shop is how good the chips are. If the chips are good, often things tend to follow and it tends to all be good. If the chips aren't great, aren't brilliant, I think they tend to not know what they're doing, and most of the other food there is poor. I might be wrong, but that's how I've rated chip shops in the past. So I thought I'm going to do a few chip shops. And I'll do one that we actually went to on Thursday night, as it turns out, and we only went to it, Friday night, just gone. My wife's mother's took bad, she's in hospital. The wife normally goes and sees her mate some Friday nights, and they spend 2 or 3 hours and they have dips and bits and pieces and all that. They eat crap. She doesn't normally cook, I don't normally cook for her. She goes out and does that on a Friday night. This week, because she wasn't going to her mate, because she wanted to go and see her mum, she needed something to eat. She said, let's go to this chipper on the way home, I like it here, and we'll get something. And I'll mention where it was and what I thought about that in the next couple of days. But before I do that, I'm going to mention the chips I had last night. Went to a do last night, as I mentioned to people. I've seen all these videos, and there was chips on the menu. In fact, that's all there was on the menu. It was an unusual menu, but more about that in a minute. But yeah, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to mention a few chip shops. And the reason I am is, as I say, because I want to be even-handed, because I mentioned the Wigan one, I should mention more. But more importantly, I was working in Widnes about 6, 7, 8 weeks ago now, and it was at a time when new potatoes just come in, when they changed the chips, and my mum always used to say, I've got to go in there, they've got new potatoes in there now, they're always better. And sometimes I'd agree with them, sometimes I couldn't see the difference. But I went to this chippy, fish and chip shop in Widnes about 6 or 7, 8 weeks ago now, maybe a little bit more, maybe 10 weeks ago. They were out of this world, and I mean, not good, absolutely out of this world. Some of the best I've ever tasted for years and years and years. I'm working there for, say, 8 days, and over the 8 days I probably went 4 times at lunchtime, and every single time they were spot on every time. There was never a bad day. And I'm going to rate some of the Warrington ones where I come from against that. Right, don't know why I'm going to do this, but I am. Right, so I'm at a do last night. This is last night's review. I'm at a do last night. I'm at this do, and it was a 50th, and I believe there was a buffet on or something. I knew nothing about it, and all of a sudden there's an announcement over the old mic there, and somebody says, right, the food is now in. What we've done for everybody likes chips. We didn't want to put ourselves out and do a big buffet and have loads left and whatever else. So what we've done is we've been to the local chipper. It's known as being the best in Warrington. More about that in a minute. And we've got loads and loads and loads of bags of chips. The deal is here. It's chips only, nothing else. There's salt and vinegar there. And there's loads and loads and loads of buttered bams. It's a portion of chips for each couple. You share it between yourselves and get a buttered bam each or more. There's more than blah, 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 blah. And that's the way it works. We think we've over-ordered. We show we've over-ordered. So once everybody's got some, if somebody wants more, please help yourself. We don't want to be throwing them away. Anyway, I wasn't going to have any because I'm on a diet. I had a stir-fry last night before I went out. A fair bit of stir-fry. A few the old jockey's whips with it. A few chips with it. But not so many because I'm on a diet. No bread, no nothing. I wasn't going to eat it. I'm on 1 meal a day at the moment and I'm going all right on it. But I've had a few drinks, haven't I? I can smell the salt and vinegar. I do like chips. And more importantly, I knew where they were from. So I thought to myself, I'll have to have some. So I goes up myself, gets a portion between me and Trouble and Strife, gave her them to start with and the old buttered bam. She said, are you not? And I said, no, I'm on a diet, but I'll have some chips. Put on what you want and then I'll have the other half. Anyway, she only put enough on the bam. There was miles more than that. I said, no, take some more. I don't want to eat all these, although I know I'm going to enjoy them. Anyway, she took nearly half. I had the other half. Oh my God, they were out of this world. And I mean, out of this world. Now, I know some might say it's a bad idea for a buffet, but it worked for everybody, because virtually everybody likes the old jockey's whips, don't they? Everybody. I mean, there might be many families that very rarely have them. You know, a lot of health-conscious people don't often have them, or they go for the oven chip variety. But there's very few people that just say, absolutely no, I won't have chips. Now, if for the 1 or 2 that might have been in there that are that way, then it's a bit of a worry, isn't it? That it's crisps or salted peanuts, or cashew nuts, or whatever it may be. But virtually everybody likes them, and everybody seemed to. They did an announcement 20 minutes later, there's more left if anyone wants some more. The wife said, do you want to get some more? I said, no, I'm on a diet. I do want some more, but I'm not going to have any. And I was good. Viewers, I was good. Didn't get any more. But they got these chips, as I say, and they were out of this world. Which brings me to where they were from, and then I'll mark it. There's a fish and chip shop in Warrington. It's been reviewed by a couple of YouTubers. I've seen it on YouTube. It's called Fishnet. I think it's in Latchford in Warrington. And it's won an award as being the best fish and chip shop in Warrington this year. And it comes on the back of them winning it last year. And I've seen a review of the chip shop in the local paper and a bit of a write-up. And the guy that owns it, I think he might be Greek, I might be wrong, might be a Cypriot, something like that. Works all day with God's end, seems a really good guy, has a lot of his family working there. When I read all this and heard it won the award last year and did see the review on the old internet, I went there about 3 months ago. I thought, I'll try it out. I'm going to get a bag of chips and I'll try it out, because if they're raving about it, I want to see if it's as good as they say it is. And I had them, viewers, and they were good. They were nice, but not out of this world. But that came on the back of me going to the one in Widnes about 2-3 weeks previous. And the one in Widnes was far better. This night, the Fishnet, the chips weren't as good, but they were good. They beat most chippers, but last night, and it wasn't because I'd had ale, out of this world, as nice a chips as I've ever had in my whole life. Brilliant. And for me, they were a 10 out of 10. Now, I can't remember what they charged for them, although I bought them 3 months ago, so price-wise, I don't know. If they were expensive, I might drop it to a 9 or 9.5, but I don't know the prices. And that takes me back to my favourite chip shop of all time. For those that live in that there Warrington, like what I do, and you did that on purpose, there was a chipper opposite the cemetery in Warrington called the Kowloon for many a year. 2 Chinese people run it, Mr. and Mrs. They worked into their 80s, I think. I mean, they could barely walk when they gave it up. The best chipper I've been in my whole life by a country mile. I've never, ever, ever had anything bad there, ever. It was absolutely brilliant. Bear in mind, never a fish, because I don't like it. But chips, curry, peas, gravy, pies, absolute Bobby Dazzlers they were. The chips were out of this world, and the curry was unusual. It's different than it ever before. Absolutely brilliant. So that's my best chipper of all time. The chips from Fishnet last night that I ate at this do were on a par with them, and that says something. They were really, really good. So for me, the score on the door would be a 10.